Well, hello everyone. Wish we would come here with different circumstances, but welcome to the weekly wrestling review with Gumpzilla and
A-DAM here.
we're here with two of our favorite people from the Fives of the Week, Hollywood, Applesnatch, and Fillie. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Top of the world, baby. Champion. You know how it goes.
Yeah, La Champion.
Le champion.
Well, so today we're not here so much about what's been going on in the SWA and storyline wise. We're actually coming as Al Brand, Adam Smith, Mike Filozoff, and Sal over here because, well, I know for me at least for sure, a piece of my childhood passed away Thursday, and that was when we lost Terry Gene Bollea, also known as, well known as, the immortal Hulk Hogan. So let's go ahead and just get right at it. Adam, how did you receive the news about Hogan's passing on Thursday?
I think, to be honest, it was you. You sent me the text. And, I was at... You said that was Thursday?
Yeah, it was Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, I was... Yeah, dude, I was just at home doing stuff around the house, and I got the text from you. But, yeah, I definitely lost a great one. Whether you like him or not, I mean, he's the one that really got it going. He was the guy, the number one guy, you know? No one else could have did it like him. It's just sad day.
What about you, Hollywood? How did you get the news?
TMZ called. And
TMZ called you personally?
Yeah. And told me the passing of Hollywood Hogan. That's how I found out, TMZ. It was sad. You know, I remember Hogan in 1984. Most of you guys weren't born. I was 13 years old when he came on the scene, you know what I'm saying? And just a big mammoth, you know. Who would have thought the career that he had and what he's been? He's a pioneer, you know, because if you knew Billy Graham was a big guy like that, blonde hair, you know what I mean, big arms and stuff like that before him, but Hogan had just took it to a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? And Dick the Bruiser, none of them guys could touch Hogan. You know what I'm saying? Hogan was the epitome that started everything. Wrestling would not be where it's at today if it wasn't for Hogan. That's bottom line.
And we'll get to that in a little bit. Billy, what about you? How did you get the news?
Well, you know, it was the other day, I hopped out the shower, and phone was just blowing up, dude. I must have had probably 10 texts, multiple group chats popping off. My brother, my uncle, a couple friends text, like, dude, you hear? Sending all these memes about, you know, Hogan passing. And I was just shocked because you heard different things. There were various reports about possibly a trachea injury. He wasn't doing well. He was on life support. You know, you can never really tell what's what, you know, from various sources. So definitely shocked, though, like when you know it's true. Because usually when you get that TMZ report, like Hollywood said, you know, he's on a direct line. So he gets all the info streamlined, you understand? But yeah, it hit home, man, because that definitely is just a huge part of your childhood, man. Just still kind of shocked that it's, you know, 71 years old and he's no longer with us.
Like, I know for me, you know, like I found out from that group chat with, you know, with Andy and Josh and Grib and all, and like, you know, for me, you know, Hulk Hogan was my childhood hero. So like, I didn't want to believe it at first. I was in denial. If that, and like I'm literally saying, I mean, this can't be real. It's got to be a hoax. I mean, even despite you see TMZ, but how many times was TMZ wrong? And or people just using the TMZ, kind of like hacking in or something and saying that somebody had died, like with all these death hoaxes. But as the news started to spread throughout through the rest of the outlets, and it's just like it really was a surreal moment. Like I was at work when I got all the information, and I didn't want to work. I was done. I mean, like your childhood hero is gone, and I was in complete shock, denial, and hoping that it was just fake, and even right now, I mean, just like I still am not like, I don't know if it's grasped yet, and like none of us knew him, personally, but I mean, we all watched him on TV. We know what he's done and contribute, but like for me personally, like I'm still trying to, get a grasp on it that he's gone, so.
Yeah.
When it comes to, history, he's from, he was born in Augusta, Georgia. He got into the wrestling business about the mid to late 70s. Sal, with you being the older member here, I mean, like do you remember any of his like early WWF, like when he, like we're talking like pre-84? Do you remember anything?
I remember when he was Thunderlips. When he played in that movie, Rocky too. But I had seen Hogan earlier on, in the business, went under different names, you know what I'm saying? And he was just up and coming, a blonde-haired, bigger guy. Not the shape that he had like he was the Hulk, he was big mammoth. And that Thunderlips was just ridiculous. He was just, that was like, oh my God, who's this big-ass rat? You know what I mean? That was Hogan.
Right.
And you just knew the way that, nobody does that to Rocky. You know what I'm saying? And he just had that. He had that mannerism of a gentle giant. You know what I mean? But to the extreme. I mean, like what people don't really understand, like, is that like Hulkamania, and when he was the third man in NWO, he took two same person, but two different organizations to the highest that could ever reach. WCW and the WWE, like no other man could ever do it. And The Rock couldn't do it. Stone Cold couldn't. Nobody could do it. And when he turned that NWO, that was just crazy. Like, for me, I remember the Hulkster younger and loving it, but I loved the Hollywood Hogan. You know what I mean? Like, he was just so dominant. Right. You know what I mean? And but I'll never forget the yellow and red and what it stood for, but he had to do that in that career. And he took, like I said, he took that whole other organization and built it, an empire. And that's just crazy to me. That's just, unbelievable.
Now, did they show AWA at all, Sal?
Back in the day, yeah, that's when
Did they show any AWA?
Yeah, Ric Flair was
that's NWA.
No, but he was with AWA too.
That's NWA.
Long time ago.
Was he?
Yeah.
Well, I guess he might have made he might have made appearances then.
Yeah.
Did they have? Okay. did they have the A-DAM? Looks like we lost A-DAM for a minute. Must have had to go kiss Andy's butt or something down the line. So anyhow, did they show Hogan was Hogan on there when they were showing AWA here?
But that was a long time ago. I think I don't even think they look at it like that. You know what I mean? Just because I don't think he was there long enough. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He went up the ranks pretty quick. You know, because they had the Giant there. The Giant was just dominating. You know, and when they heard about this guy, he just had to come up. You know, he wasn't going to be a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, because like Ric Flair, I remember him going from one organization to NWA to AEW. He had, you know what I'm saying, like them other. Now the AEW with I forget who they got over there. I mean, there's too many of them. Now, it should have been just WCW and WWE. Period.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But you'll never see anything like that ever again. Nobody will ever see. Not even a Sting. I mean, Undertaker. You will not have that type of feeling that you have. And there's been some bashing.
Right.
Really pissed me off. Rappaport come out today and said, "Hey, listen, we're not going to knock Hogan for whatever outside differences or whatever. We're not going to do that." Read that report he had, Rappaport, and he was to the thing. He's like, "Hey, I'll defend him." Because at the end of the day, you have your own opinion if you want. It doesn't matter. And for something chanting when Hogan, about his death and F Hogan. I thought it was just disgusting, man. You know what I mean? This bar, it was just.
Well, we'll get to that in a little bit here.
Yeah.
Fillie, what was your earliest memory of Hogan?
Oh man, it takes me back. So when I was just a small little boy, man, I used to love playing with the wrestling figures, and ever since I can remember in my grandma's basement, my first one I had was Hulk Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter in that little WWF wrestling ring.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember, since 5 years old, man, begging them and my mom to take me to like Movie Mania or Blockbuster, renting all the old Survivor series. I want to say the first one I seen was I believe it was WrestleMania. Was it 1 or 2 with Mr. T?
I think it was.
That was the first. Well, he was in both of them, but the first one was the tag match.
Yeah, that was the first one I seen, and I just remember being hooked and going down the entire line of all the WrestleManias, all the Survivor series, because that was so big back in the day. You remember Hogan's team versus Andre's team?
Yeah.
Hogan versus Paul Orndorff, man. Like those early memories where Hulkamania was just so wild and just running like crazy, man. I just, I want to say, looking back at like 5, 6 years old, watching that first WrestleMania, I was just captivated by wrestling in general. And that's why I've been a lifelong fan, in large part due to Hulk Hogan, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. What about you, A-DAM? I know you're the youngest out of all of us here. What was your first, at least, Hulk Hogan memory?
No idea.
Right. Let me see. Maybe if let's see if I can unmute you. Hold on. A-DAM, are you there?
Where is A-DAM?
Where is A-DAM you?
The boy's a little camera shy.
Well, I'm wondering if he has some issues going on right now, so we'll see if he pops back on. So, for me, my earliest memory was around 91, about 91, when Hogan and Slaughter were in the feud with that, with the Iraqi sympathizer and I'll never forget where I was sitting. Was in sitting on my grandpa's couch. My grandma was sitting on the chair across the way, and we watched the fireball that Slaughter threw into Hogan's eyes. And I'll never forget that. But like I'm looking at this larger than life man who looks to be like a superhero to me, and he is. I was hooked. He, like you guys said. I mean, he. It was because of him why my fandom is the way it is with wrestling.
His character was so amazing.
It was incredible. I mean, and it's still like you look back and it's like, and you watch all the old stuff and it seriously still holds up to this day. I still love I love going back and watching WrestleMania 1 and going and watching the huge moment. Now, Sal, were you at WrestleMania 3 when Hogan slammed Andre?
No, I couldn't go. My dad was there because I remember I was mad because he went and I couldn't.
Your dad went.
Yeah. So, and I'm like, oh, why can't I go? And he's like, no, tickets too much. And he's like, it was one of the best things he's seen. He said, man, when you picked him up and just slammed him and you heard it, you know what I mean? He said, oh,
right.
man, that boy is strong. And I was like, oh, man, I wanted to see that so bad. And so I'm sitting there waiting until he got home. And I seen Hogan down at the Joe Louis Arena. And I seen him down at Cobo Hall. Now, you're talking, in the late 80s. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Seeing him, he was Paul Orndorff. They had some of the older guys. It wasn't, Hogan was still like the premier guy, but there wasn't like now. And they were just building. They had the Dynamite Kid and which called his tag
right.
going against the Hart Foundation. And Savage was just coming on the scene. And we seen Savage down, in the alley with Elizabeth, an old beat up Cadillac. But he was just in the first phase. So, you didn't know about this guy. He was just this crazy dude, you know what I mean? Nothing would come. Because remember, when you think about that too, and you see that, Hogan needed Savage as well as Savage needed Hogan. You know what I mean? Even though he was the big con.
Well, I think actually, if it's anything, it was Savage that needed Hogan.
Well,
Hogan was already established
each
at that
other,
point.
Yeah, they accommodated so much. I was just watching a clip with Savage with the NWO when he was sitting in the ring in that chair and he wanted answers, and he was waiting on Sting, and just the command of him and Hogan on and off through all the years. Just imagine if you ask yourself this question now. What if there was no Savage? You know what I mean? That'd be
right.
You know what I mean? Hogan would he be as big? I mean, because there was a lot. It was like that younger brother. You know what I'm saying? Always chasing.
You know what? I would say Hogan would have still been better. It would have been well done. He would have been fine. I mean, Vince McMahon would have found another big man to go up against him. I mean, the criteria worked. Well, now that A-DAM has come back from his trip, talking to Mr. Ferrara.
Yes.
Can we, Adam? What was your first? Do you remember your first memory of Hogan?
You said you say Andy?
No. It looks like he's frozen again. Must not be. It's definitely him, not us. Oh, there he is. Hi. You need to unmute yourself, though.
The boy's on mute.
Right. There. Can we hear you? Are you good now? Oh, good grief. Yeah, we still can't hear you. We know you're on the phone with Mr. Ferrara.
He's got his earpiece in.
let me unmute you. Let me see if that works. Technology, I swear. Let's see. Boy, what is going on with you there today, Adam? Let's see. Yeah, still can't hear you. Hold on. We'll get back to you in just a minute when you figure it out. And don't think we're sabotaging you. We're not sabotaging you.
We're very anxious to hear what the boy has to say.
Right.
Hey, let me ask you this. How crushed were you when you found out that Savage died?
It was a shocker. It was a shocker.
Same way he had a cardiac arrest while he was driving and hit the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And I was so heartbroken because...
It's funny. I'm glad you said that.
When I thought of Savage, I thought of Hogan. You know, just like even with the Warrior. When the Warrior told him, you've never beaten a Warrior. Hogan never beat...
Was that cardiac arrest? Was that
cardiac
arrest
cardiac
with Warrior
arrest?
2?
Yes. After the Hall of Fame, after that WrestleMania. Yes. He died of cardiac arrest too.
Yeah, talk about a Hollywood moment with that, by the way. With him,
that juice,
that was
man.
a Hollywood ending. Yeah,
that juice. Eddie Guerrero.
So now, like I said, while we wait to see if Adam comes back or not, favorite Hogan match? Do you guys have one?
Man, there's so many, dude. I think the ones that really stick out to me, WrestleMania 5 when the Mega Powers collide. I mean, at the time, you look at, 1A and 1B for sure. Hogan definitely had the lead, but Savage was ascending. And then you look at going into 6 against the Ultimate Warrior, where you got a face versus a face. That couple years of wrestling really captivated. And then fast forward, to the match with The Rock when the crowd turned, right? And we all know the story, Gump. You got to see it live. Yep. But that was quite amazing from a wrestling standpoint to see the crowd switch and them act on the fly, and to see the crowd really embrace Hogan from that point on, even though he was a bad guy with the NWO, you know what I'm saying? I thought that was a really cool, pivotal moment in wrestling. But those three, they fall in line for me. I mean, I prefer the matches earlier. Just because as a kid watching those, I was so invested.
Oh, yeah.
As a true fan. And not to say that I'm not now, but you're so invested as a kid and as a fan and captivated by the moment. So I would say those two matches at WrestleMania 5 and 6 for me are like neck and neck.
All right. Let's see if we can get Adam real quick. All right, Adam, earliest Hulk Hogan memory.
He's still on mute.
I think he froze again. It might be his. I think it might be his connection. You know what? How about this, Adam? Take yourself off of Wi-Fi. Use your data. That might actually help. You might have a lot of things running at your house. We've had that issue before. So
tell Andy to pay the bill.
That might.
Yeah, you shouldn't have that problem. He has that very high wire that's straight connect to Andy.
Well, I will say this. I mean, because they do, they have a lot, with the kids and all that. They do have a lot of different devices that are on the Wi-Fi. But I mean, I figure if you go, I know when we've gone onto the data, it works a lot better. Are we officially back, Adam?
There is no Adam.
There's
Earth to Adam. Earth to Adam.
Well, at least you can hear us.
Adam.
Oh. Okay. Boy, this has been funnier than anything.
Awesome.
That's what he gets for attacking us, there, Mike. I mean, he hit us, man.
Hey.
All right. What about you, Sal? What is your favorite Hogan match?
There's so many. I can't really pick. I mean, the King Kong Bunyan, that blue steel cage. When he went up against Sting and NWO, there's so many. You know what I mean? The Rock one.
What? Okay, well, it's your personal one. If there was like out of all the matches, like just one particular match, which one would you pinpoint as your favorite?
I would say when he beat Iron Sheik in New York.
Oh wow, you're going with the first when he won the WWF title the first time.
Oh yeah, that was the Sheik was bad.
Wow.
Nobody beat the Sheik. And Hogan beat the Sheik in New York.
Cheeky baby.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy.
I spit on you how to say Pewee.
Sheik only had that title for 3 weeks. He was a transitional champion.
Man, that dude was built, man, like a brick.
Oh.
I kill you, Hogan. Yeah, that was sweet, man. He was just like, oh, yeah. And it reared from there.
As long as you didn't say Bash at the Beach when Jeff Jarrett laid down for him, I'm good with it.
No.
Right.
And just think, he didn't have the greatest move. He had the leg drop. But that was one of the most famous moves. Coming off the rope, no matter how long he took. Once he dropped it, 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying?
That's it, man.
Simple, easy. That's why his hips got blown out.
Wow, I mean, that very impressive, though. I mean, I would have never thought that. But, I mean, I guess that was the one that started it all,
I mean,
I was going to say, like, obviously for me, and, Mike, I mean, sorry, Mike, I got to, open wounds again here. But, I mean, but Rock Hogan is just, I mean, like you guys said, I mean, the crowd, and, I just watched it again yesterday, and, from start to finish, and just like Mike said, I mean, watching him on the fly, like literally do a switch of who becomes the face and who becomes the heel. Because there was no way, like, Andy and I are walking into the arena at the Sky Dome, and everybody, like, in the crowd as we're walking into the building are just, chanting for Hogan. I mean, we were chanting Hogan going to our seats and chanting for Hogan before the show even started. I mean, that Toronto crowd, I mean, that was something to experience. But there was no way we were going to allow Hogan, our hero, to be a bad guy in the WWF. There was no way.
It's that comeback story, right? So after him leaving, which nobody thought after being such a pivotal character in WWF, to going and doing what he did in WCW, to finally coming back home. Yeah. Just after that initial injection of the NWO angle, like, hey, man, this is our guy. This is the guy that got us in a big way to where we are.
Yeah.
Attitude Era aside, but, like, this is the guy that put wrestling, period, on the map. Right now he's back home. Absolutely. We're going to embrace our guy.
It was. Are we going to see him? Is he making a run in officially? Have we?
Is he with us?
You might need to go to a different spot in your house, man, because I don't know what's going on. We can't.
He's looking so frustrated. Keep moving, man.
That frustrated, moving.
So anyhow, I don't know if you guys that came out on Facebook and on YouTube. Is it yesterday or the other day? Because I know, like Andy shared it in the group about the crowd. Just, I mean, from that match where they took Jerry and King out of, it was just the pure unedited crowd noise when Hogan hulked up, and oh my gosh, that still didn't do justice. But I mean, like, if you put your earbuds in and turn your phone up as loud as you can and put that maybe to 20. That was incredible. I mean, it's just cool though. I mean, like WWE put that out into the out on the in production. I'm very happy that they did. You know, I mean that, like I said, I mean that was just something to experience, guys. Now, did any of you guys, Mike? Did you go to any of the WCW events? Because I know I didn't, and I wish I did.
I wish I would have went to more too. I believe I was at a Nitro. I don't remember too much from it. So yeah, I really don't have an actual memory of that. I do remember, which I think we all do because we all were there, was the handicap match, NWO versus Austin and Rock. That was awesome. Yep. That was one of my favorite live events still.
Oh my god!
Just to feel that energy in the Joe and the star power.
Well, what was cool about that is obviously that happened the Monday before WrestleMania. But even then, I mean, like you could tell it. You could just hear the Detroit crowd. You know, we were all cheering for Hogan. We weren't gonna give Hogan that heel run that he wanted.
Right.
It was not going to work here. You know, I mean, like the one that I really wish I would have gone to was when Lex won the WCW title here at the Palace when he defeated Hogan. Because I mean, like that crowd was like on TV, and you could just hear it how loud that crowd was when it happened. You know. All right. A-DAM is back.
Oh.
Hey! Are you done talking to Andy now?
No, I figured
apparently
get your popcorn trick going, you know.
He's in the basement, Dotmill.
Dude, it was working. It was working fine until you started getting on, and then it was like freezing and cutting out. It was just weird. Like when we first started, the three of us heard, and then Big Beard Gump came in and started, messing with the wires and doing all this stuff, and then,
yeah, there you go.
Then you couldn't hear me. So.
Well,
I'm gonna put that in consideration. I'm gonna jot that down for Andy.
Oh my gosh! You hear this guy, Mike?
I hear him,
dude.
All right.
Now that you guys can actually hear me, I was thinking about it today. It was crazy just how Hogan was so at the top of his game for two different companies, to take it, single-handedly, to put it on his back and just take it to new heights. And say what you want, like we said, but that WWE got where it was because that heel turn and everything he was doing, they had to do their best to compete. And
right.
Hogan was, responsible for all that. It started bringing a lot more out of some of the WWE guys. They had to, be more organic and come up with their own stuff, to try to compete because of what Hogan did. The biggest heel turn of all time.
WCW was kicking their ass.
I don't know. Yeah.
47 straight.
I don't know. It's right up there. It's right up there neck and neck with the Sea Rebel heel turn. But it was pretty good.
So, A-DAM, what is your... So we're going to track back for you a little bit. What was your earliest Hogan memory? Because I know you're obviously the youngest out of all of us.
Yeah, like I said, it was obviously I'm a little younger than you guys. I was a little older when I started getting into it, but it was just the Monday Night Wars. I was staying the night at my cousin's. I was 8 or 9, and he was flipping back and forth between Raw and
Isn't that crazy?
WCW.
Yeah.
But he had the NWO Hogan dummy that we would wrestle with. He had the Sting one we would wrestle with. He had Ultimate Warrior that we would wrestle with. It was just like, see, I being introduced to that Hogan, the NWO Hogan, I didn't start watching until after he did that. But really, my cousin showing me that, and like I said, after he turned heel, just the amount of NWO shirts that were in that crowd,
Right.
it was amazing, but you gotta give it to him.
Right.
He's responsible
Well,
for a lot of these guys.
Danny Payne is in the chat here, and hey, Danny, how you doing, buddy? He goes, WrestleMania 1, didn't see it live, but it's the earliest I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, that was looking back at that, I mean, that was a really important moment there. And then, Adam, do you have a favorite Hogan match?
To be honest, I really don't have a favorite Hogan match. My favorite memory of him is, probably the obvious, him body slamming Andre the Giant.
Okay.
But, to be honest, I really don't have a favorite Hogan match. I know you guys are probably like, oh, look at this guy. He doesn't have a favorite, but, I really can't point one out.
Right. Well, I mean, like when you were talking to me earlier about it, you were saying just because it was more, Hogan was on the tail end of his career by the time you started getting into it, compared to us. But I mean, I'm sure, that, I mean, you had the early 2000s Hogan for a little bit there, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So now the next question is so Vince McMahon, wants to expand. We should say Vince McMahon Jr. wants to expand WWF National, and he needed a guy that had charisma, that had the look. Now, if there was no Hulk Hogan, if Vince went a different route, could anybody actually take that spot that Hogan had and actually help WWF get to where they wanted to be national? I'll start off with Fillie. We'll start off with Fillie, because I know Hollywood has a lot to say, and I want you to be last. Okay, buddy?
I'm trying to think back at that time. What year was that? Like, what was the time frame?
83, 84. So you would have had people like Flair, Dusty Rhodes. Let's see, the Von Erichs would have been in play. I would say. I don't think it wouldn't have happened with Cowboy. I don't think.
So obviously,
those
Andre
are the
was
only
still around.
Yeah, but Andre was already a made man as is. So
yeah. See, I don't think those guys. I think Dusty had the charisma. He wasn't the prototypical muscle man like I think Vince McMahon wanted per se, but I think persona-wise, that's a guy you could have leaned into more and kind of let him ride a little bit. But the making of Hulkamania, dude, I just think that alone is something special. And I know so many wrestling fans are going to hate me for this, but I'm not as big of a Ric Flair guy as a lot of people are, man. Al, you know that. Unc, we've talked about that. I know a lot of you guys love him, man. However, I don't know. I just don't think he's that guy. I mean, he lived his gimmick. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the Nate styling, profiling,
absolutely,
all that stuff. He lived it to a T, which was amazing, man. So maybe those two guys, but just not like Hogan. I just think this guy catapulted them into so many different mainstream avenues to make it as big as it was. I really don't think those other guys were going to be able to do that outside of Dusty Rhodes. I think more so than Flair. And I know that's probably an unpopular opinion, but that's just what I saw.
See, and this is where I don't even think Flair could have done it, to be honest. I mean, Flair, as much as we respect Flair, what he's done for the business, and it was always in the 80s, the dream match between Hogan and Flair, but I don't think Flair could have done it because I don't think Flair really, Flair's got charisma, but I don't know if he has that type of charisma that Vince was looking for. And then I was listening to something today that brought up kind of a good point with with Dusty. Dusty had the charisma, but would have Dusty been able to carry the company from 84 to 91 because he was already kind of in that mid to tail end of his career.
He didn't have the look.
Sometimes the look isn't everything, but yeah, you're right. He didn't have the look though that Vince wanted because Vince wanted the big guys. Yeah. All right, Sal, the floor is to you. Go ahead and say what you got to say.
I loved Dusty Rhodes, but like I said, he didn't have the look, the shape, per se, that Vince McMahon wanted to represent his heavyweight title. You know what I mean? Bigger guy, right. 24-inch pythons. He was a real American. You know what I mean? People bought into that. The blonde hair, blue eye. You know what I'm saying? Hogan was just, and he got away with being part bald. You know what I mean? For the most part.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you think about it, but he got away with it. And, for the most time, he had that, the band on and stuff like that. And, only other one I think that really wanted in their heart was Bret Hart, but he was from Canada, and Vince McMahon wasn't going to allow that.
Well, I still think it would have been early for Bret. I mean, that was mid '80s is too early for Bret.
But Bret was upcoming. They knew coming from that dungeon. You know what I'm saying? Bret Hart was sweet, man.
But I don't even know if Bret would have even been ready at that point, anyways.
Bret was never as big as Hogan. Never.
I mean, I kind of look back at maybe Kerry Von Erich, maybe.
No,
but Kerry was, I don't know. I mean, he was more. If he could have gotten out of his dad's shadow, I would assume maybe he'd take it.
You remember Nikita Koloff?
He was too focused on Nikita Koloff. Come on, Sal.
You remember how big that dude was? He was the, you know what I mean? Even the Road Warriors. The Road Warriors were a dominant force as a tag team. The Road Warriors
as a tag team, yes,
forever.
But you couldn't. There was no way you could split that tag team because they couldn't live with it. They really couldn't.
No,
they couldn't go on after. On singles
I
runs.
The Giant was your guy for a long time. He was big, 500-some pounds. The things he did, but he just didn't. When you seen the Giant and then you looked at Hogan in the physique, it was very simple. You're turning the title over. This is the guy that has to represent this company. Your size,
see, and I still don't think it could have been Andre because Andre, one, was already a made man as himself, but two, he was an attraction, and you didn't want to, huh? He was big, but the thing is, though, is that you don't want to, you didn't want to, overexpose Andre because Andre was going to be a moneymaker no matter what.
Yeah,
and you don't want to overexpose your cash cow. Basically, is who it was.
I mean, back then when you had Gorilla Monsoon and all them, and you seen Andre was their big thing. That was Andre in the early '80s. That's what they had until Hogan came aboard, and Hogan just took it to a whole nother level. You may never ever see this again. Never ever again. With you know what I'm saying? The only Roman Reigns is so dominant but I don't know. Like me and Fillie would talk so many times. You know, you think, you know, like Stone Cold. Yeah, I think at this, you know, I love Roman. There's so much more for him to do, but I don't know if it'll ever take over that Hogan, because Hogan split WCW and that's the whole freaking key, man. He was able to dominate both of them and be a pioneer. That's hard to do. That's very hard to do, man. Hands down.
All right. Adam, what do you think was the bigger moment? Would you say it was when Hogan slammed Andre, or when Hogan turned heel at to join the NWO? We'll start off with Adam here. You're muted. Hold on.
It keeps cutting.
Yeah.
Can
I got it muted. So, yep, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I think that I think it was definitely the heel turn. I mean, people could disagree with that. Obviously, like when he was, younger and, getting the, he was the star then. But I really think that the heel turn to me was the big thing, because, man, I mean, it just blew up after that.
What about you, Fillie? Which do you think was the more important of the moments?
I gotta say the heel turn as well. As captivating as the Slam was, and as big as that was back in the day, nobody saw that coming, man. The third man, all you fans could stick it, brother. Like, that was just crazy. And just to see all this stuff getting thrown in the ring and how it changed the game entirely and launched WCW into this stratosphere on its own for a minute. Like Hollywood said, 47 Monday nights, man, whipped their butts, WWF. And, that I really feel like changed the course of wrestling. Rodzilla and all this, crazy stuff they did, man. It was just unforeseen, dude. Like, it was new level stuff, and that's when they were at their best, and it made wrestling better because it was a true competition, and it made the WWE get better because they had to step their game up, more edgier content. I think if you look at the fallout from all of that, the heel turn by far is just more impactful.
Well, when it's funny you should say, like, Rodman legitimately, like, skipped an NBA finals practice to go to Nitro.
Yeah, Jordan was out looking for him, man.
Hey, what about Karl Malone?
Yeah. Well, but when that happened, though, when that match happened, it was during the off season, though. What about you, Hollywood? What do you biggest of the two moments? What do you think was the bigger?
I got to say the turn. I got the turn, the third man. When they said who was the third man, they were waiting for the third man. I'm like, there ain't no way it could be Hogan. There's no way. It not even like entered my mind like that it would be him. And when he come out, I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Right.
Nuts, man. Like, it was just like no other. And then when he's like sticking, it was like, wow, all the Hulkamania.
Uh-oh.
And then, Scott Hall and them, and and just to call it the New World Order, we're taking a massive takeover. Everyone was on notice. That was crazy to me. That was a game changer and the biggest moment, I think, that turned him heel.
Right. Wow. 3 for 3. I mean, I was actually gonna say the slam, but you guys might have something there, because I mean, when Hogan slammed Andre, I mean, like, yeah, they made a big deal that this is the first time that Hogan slammed Andre, which was not true, because if you watched pre-WWF, he slammed Andre countless times.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like, yeah, it was cool. I mean, it was in front of 93,000 at the Silver Dome, but WWF was pretty much already solidified as a national company. So, yeah, I guess the heel turn is it was, because he had not been a heel. He had not been a heel since like the late 70s, early 80s moments when he first joined the WWF. That was around the last time he played any role of a heel. So this was, it was brand new. So yeah, I could see that being the bigger the moment of the two.
And look where the other side's at. There is no WCW. They burned it to the ground.
Right.
They left it where it stood, where they created. You know what I mean? So
now, right now, how do you guys feel about? I mean, did you guys think that there was more of an outpour for, with Hogan being on the more positive side, or did you think it was more of the basement dwellers that had been creeping up and saying that they've been basically dancing on his grave? Yeah. I would say there's more love than there are the hate.
Yeah, I'd say so. Definitely more love than hate, And listen, like I said on the Fives of the Week live, man, nobody walking God's green earth is perfect, right? I know Hogan has said some out of pocket things, and regardless of what people believe, but I think overall, you look at, you can decipher between person and character, right? No matter
Right.
race, creed, or color, man. Like everybody knew Hulk Hogan, loved Hulk Hogan at some point in their life. So if you look at him as strictly as a wrestler and what he did for the business, I think it's all positive, man. And all, and you can dive deeper into the booking and all this, and that doesn't work for me, brother, those type of things. But when you carry that much cachet, there's something to be said about him having some stroke in that too, right? Because he has done it all,
Right.
and but I think when you look at his entire body of work, man, I think, that's what needs to be focused on. There's going to always be people and naysayers no matter who you are or what you do. So I think overall, rightfully so, it should remain positive, in my opinion.
Yeah. What about you there, Applesnatch?
I agree with Fillie. I mean, you're gonna always have it's even like reviews on having a lawnmower or something. You know what I mean? You're always gonna get people in there. That it didn't. You know what I mean? How many out of 100? You know what I'm saying? There's just too many. It's overbearing. There's more people that love Hogan than hate him, and that goes with anything in life. Everyone's not gonna like us. Everyone's not gonna like the Fives of the Week. That's okay. But the majority does, and the majority rules.
Yeah.
So that's he's a legend. He's a legend.
Right. I know it's been. What are you doing, Adam? He's coming in with like pumping his arms.
Getting ready.
Right.
Getting ready, baby.
Adam, I just asked about like, do you see more positive or negative when it comes to the hate with Hogan? I think the three of us have said that we see more of the positive. What do you see?
I see it's more kind of like in the middle, to be honest. From what I've seen, more of the positive is, like more like wrestling fans like us, but the negative are some of the, maybe like the younger generation, like people I work with. There's a couple guys, they don't like Hogan, this and that, and they didn't like him for the stuff that happened like 20 years ago or whatever. But that just shows you the way society's gone. You know what I mean? Like, people are so offended about some of the things they shouldn't be, and then they don't get offended about the things they should get offended about.
Right.
It's just the way society's gone. But it's like, for what he did and like what he did in the ring and stuff like that, people should not be cheering for someone passing away. There's many of athletes, other performers that have done far worse I'm pretty sure. And
Yeah.
they'll have a lot of these people that are looking up to them. Oh, like they're
Oh,
heroes.
absolutely. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's sickening to me.
It
It's
is. It
just
makes me
sickening
sick.
to me.
It makes me sick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's crazy that it is coming from like the basement dwellers. I mean, it's just like these guys, people who don't appreciate that and don't want to believe that wrestling would not be on the map and in the position that it is if it was not for Hulk Hogan. They don't want to believe that.
No.
It drives me crazy. It comes like they're the ones that go and watch like, all political wrestling, AEW right now, and it drives me crazy. It really is that fan base, or the, like Adam said, I mean, the younger generation that they don't want to forgive, like they just want to stick and hang on to what he said and what he's done. I mean, Philly had nailed it. I mean, we're not perfect. None of us are perfect. There was only one perfect person in this world, and he died on the cross, man. So,
now, do you guys think, like, is it one of those situations where either die a hero or live long enough to play the villain? Because sometimes you look at these guys, for instance, Hollywood and I have discussed this many times. You look at guys like Ric Flair hanging around. Goldberg hanging around, just needed that last match, and it was horrible. It's like, dude, when your time's up, your time's up. Hogan came back to, I think, promote the beer or whatever, and there's always going to be that political BS. He was very, adamant on what side he stood for, which many of people are, and it shouldn't all just come down to that, which is why I think it's smart to maybe keep that stuff out of, wrestling in a sense, because people use entertainment and sports to escape that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Because I know I do personally, because I could turn on the news if I wanted politics, turn on the news if I wanted bad news. I turn on WWE for storytelling. I turn on sports to see a good show. You know what I'm saying? Like the athleticism and things like that. So if you keep it more about that and keep things in a perspective, I think you get a better experience from it. But some people cannot compartmentalize things, man, and they hang on to that one negative thing, and they will not let go, and it's very unfortunate. And Hogan hasn't been active in a very long time, but you look back at that moment, I think it was down in Dallas when it was him, Rock, and Austin in the ring. That would have been a nice send-off for Hulk. That the last memory he had the little screw up with about the Superdome, Silverdome, get with those three legends in the ring. That would have been perfect, but to come back and push the beer, probably not the best spot in LA, you know what I mean, where voices really want to be heard, things like that. So all that stuff plays a role, unfortunately, but it is what it is. What are you going to do? You got to focus on the positive, and you can't buy into these people that are just they're filled with negative energy and vibes, man.
I can't forgive that LA crowd for booing Hogan, man. I can't.
They're scum.
I mean, and that, ironically too, that ended up being his last televised appearance for WWE.
Yeah, it
was that first Raw on Netflix.
They're scum for doing that. But go Juice.
I mean, I mean, he deserves so much better than that.
Yeah. But that's all right, though. The majority will rule.
Now,
you know what I mean?
Now, did you guys happen to ever meet Hulk Hogan?
I never met him personally. I've seen him close up, but never got a chance, like a locker room thing, but he was moving too fast. You know what I'm saying? Just very, very huge, man. Big.
Right.
Like, you can't imagine whether, because you're younger, you know what I mean? But just a massive. When he said 24-inch pythons, them arms were huge, man. Like, he was probably like about 8 feet away from me. That's about it. Yeah.
What about you, Philly? Did you get a chance to see him in person or get up close?
No, not up close. Closest I got it, like I said, was as a kid there was an event I got to see him during the Hulkamania run, and then again I got to see him on that Monday Night Raw in that handicap match. But you never did a meet and greet or nothing.
Right.
Just admired him from afar, man.
Right. You know, it's funny because remember we did. Adam and I were on the show with you guys last year, around this time last year, when we did our SummerSlam preview show with you guys. And you remember how excited I was because I mean I got just a few days before that I got to meet Hogan. I bought the beer. You guys tried the beer with us, and how giddy I was. Like I still remember, just go and the only words I can get out was thanks, Hulk. Thank you, Hulk. I mean, that was
your mom.
It was. I mean,
pants, boy.
I mean, I got to shake his hand, and it's so mind-boggling that the fact that we're a day short before that 1 year moment that I met Hogan, he passed away. It was like, it was like seriously, like God did that for, on purpose, for me to have that opportunity to get that picture and that handshake. And even if it was just anywhere between 30 to 60 seconds, I mean, it's a core memory. And, you guys seen the photo that I've had with, that I got with Hogan, and how special it is for me. Cause I mean, I had that, my son with me, and we had that picture, and that picture now goes from special to immortal to me.
And you'll always have that.
And I'll always have that. I mean, like, I've always been a person where I don't care about autographs. I want the picture with the person, because to me that's more special, because at least it shows that I got to meet that person. And Hulk Hogan in particular was the, you guys remember last year I said he was the guy. If there's any other meet and greet, like today we had Bailey that was down the street in St. Clair Shores, but I had no interest in seeing her, because, really essentially any other meet and greet for me is just going to be so minuscule compared to meeting my childhood hero,
Yeah.
The only thing I can compare that to you is when Adam met Andy. Other than that, there's nothing that compares. Nothing.
And he gives a thumbs up.
Damn you, Adam.
Damn you.
Oh, you're muted again. Hold on. Let's unmute you before you. All right.
Andy looks like he's playing on damn Happy Days. Son of a bitch.
Right?
Ralph the Mouth.
But I mean, like, I don't want to, I just didn't want it about it, but it's just like, I'll always have that moment, and it's just, I don't know, man. I'm just so thankful. Thank God that I got to meet Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Especially just since you were such a lifelong fan. It's definitely a special thing that you get to hold on to, dude. It's really cool.
I mean, I wish that you guys would have been there too. I mean, I called you guys. I was like, come on up, But I know, life sometimes has different plans for everybody. Yeah, I would have had a spot for you.
Crazy thing too is that wasn't too far from my house at the time. I was literally like a couple miles down the road. I just got tied up with work stuff, man. I would have loved to have been there.
Right. Are you trying to say something over there now, Adam, now that we got you unmuted?
Can you hear me?
It's not. Wow. It could be, I don't know.
Adam you.
Yeah, right. That's what happens when you go on an Andy payroll.
Got your house wired.
We knew a damn.
He's on that dial-up. Oh, what'd you say? He's on dial-up, guys. Still using AOL. Well, Well, we'll see if Adam comes back on one more time here. So, let's see if we can get him one more time here. Yeah, you're nothing, Adam. Can you go outside for a second? Maybe get a better. Maybe you might get better reception outside. Oh, this is the art of technology. Sometimes it just works for you and it doesn't work for you sometimes. Any final thoughts about with Hogan? Like, what kind of, what's going to be his legacy?
Hope.
Well, I think in many people's minds, his legacy is going to be the greatest professional wrestler of all time. I think probably not from a technical standpoint, but I'm saying from an overall superstardom standpoint, what he's done for the business, his aura alone, Hulkamania, NWO, just a pure legend. And I think, without diving too deep into the weeds, I think if you're just looking at star power alone, this guy's probably on most 9 out of 10 Mount Rushmores for professional wrestling.
Oh, without a doubt.
I think you have to have him on there. I think regardless of, the little tidbits and the negative things that have come out, I think, bar none, he's definitely there, top 4 for sure. In a lot of people's minds, I believe 9 out of 10 people, I think he's the top guy as far as overall professional wrestler. I don't think that can be taken away from him.
Adam, what about you? What's going to be his lasting legacy? It just goes right on mute right as soon as we.
Hello.
Earth to A-DAM.
Oh, there we are.
There you are.
So, what do you think his lasting legacy will be?
Oh, for gosh
For
sake.
once in my life, I might have to agree with Mike. Yeah, I mean, the best professional wrestler of all time. Like just what he did for the company, what he did for each and every wrestler that's there now, trying to make a name for themselves.
And then you got off.
They're there. He's.
Yeah. What about you, Sal?
Well, Hogan was bigger than life. And the love that he had for, for the kids and everything like that, take your vitamins, say your prayers and all that. Hogan never took a time where he didn't stop with the kids. You know what I mean? He really got kicked out of that one little kid who made fun. You know what I mean? He's like, "What you gonna do, brother?" He's like, "Oh man, show me." And he always took that time in the things that he done.
Yeah,
and he will always be a superstar legend. There'd be no John Cena, no Rock, no Roman Reigns, if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan. And that right there is true Triple H, all the great names, if it wasn't for Hogan. And even us. Like, we wouldn't be probably doing what we're doing if it wasn't for Hogan. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because we had that dream. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't give up, brother. You know what I mean? That count out, when you counted them out, you come with the finger and all that. You know, as a kid, how many times we've done that? You know what I mean? And
right. Yeah.
I thank Hogan.
I'm glad you said that, because I mean, like, really, essentially, like you guys said, like all three of you said, there would be no. I mean, like, really, essentially, there'd be no wrestling the way it is today without Hulk Hogan.
No.
I mean, I look at what we have done now in the last few months. With Shore's Wrestling Alliance, like, there would be no backyard wrestling. There would, for us to start to try to, well, even though we shouldn't be trying that at home at the time, but I mean, we wouldn't have been backyard wrestling. We wouldn't have never, 20 years later, been in an actual wrestling ring. If it wasn't for Hogan, if Hogan could not, if Hogan couldn't get over in the 80s, Vince McMahon's dream of being a national powerhouse was dead.
Yeah.
Flat out dead. And, we would still more than likely be in the territory days. We would
And
still
how many times
be
did you try tearing your shirt off like Hogan? You know what I mean? How many times? Like it was in you. You wanted to tear the shirt.
I even still try once in a while.
Yeah.
Like if I'm wearing like an old shirt and I see like a little slit on it, I'm just like the Hulkster,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's because of Hulk Hogan. Like Hulk Hogan, it was because of Hulk Hogan why I became a fan. It's because of Hulk Hogan why I wanted to get into the professional wrestling business. And granted, I mean, 20 years later, I mean, we're, what our trainer Tony calls it, beer league wrestling. I mean, but we're training. We're actually getting legit training. We're doing shows, and none of this would have ever been possible if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan. If it wasn't for him, I mean, it's up to us. Like remember, he's in there. You had out there. It said Hulkamania, runs wild, and Hulkamania is going to live forever, and Hulk Hogan is the immortal Hulk Hogan. Well, now that Hulk is gone, it's up to us to keep that legacy, to tell the stories of who Hulk Hogan was, and these stories that we talked about, with Hogan and our fondest memories, and it could, good, bad, or ugly with Hogan. It's up to us to carry that legacy because
he'll live in each and every one of us. Hogan lives in each and every one of us.
I mean, we're going to be the reason why Hulkamania is going to live forever. And, it's up to us to continue that legacy of the stories of Hogan. Anything else to add, guys? Did I miss anything on that or?
No, man, he's the Babe Ruth of professional wrestling, man. He's that guy that's going to live on that people are going to talk about for the next, 40, 50 years, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, once in a generational guy, and I'm just glad that I got to live in that generation personally to know that, to see Hulk Hogan and what he had become and what his legacy is really essentially has presented. So, all right. Well, on behalf of A-DAM, before I forget. Speaking of which, Unfinished Business is coming up September 6th at the T3 Arena in Fraser, Michigan. We will have the final card coming up here. It will be announced very soon. Philly, you got anything to say about that?
No, really just stay tuned, man. Appreciate all the love and support from both fans of Weekly Wrestling Review and Fives of the Week podcast. And we're looking to build on the first one, be even better, you know what I mean? And continue to grind, looking forward to performing. We're all going to play pivotal roles once again, and really excited about it, man, for the next chapter.
Yeah. And I believe our man over there, Hollywood Applesnatch, is going to be the MC this time around.
Oh, it's going to be nice. It's going to be electrifying.
What are you most excited for, Hollywood?
I like, it doesn't matter what I do, you know what I mean? And I think what's going to make this one so special too is losing that icon as well. That'll push a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? Even further, and to make this one even more special. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's going to be a really, really great night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that'll all be heavy on our minds and stuff like that to try, to perform no matter what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's key. Yeah. So, yeah.
So follow Shores Wrestling Alliance on Facebook. We are looking to grow there. Can't wait to start doing some live feeds and all that on there. You will be able to watch the show on, I believe, your guys' Fives of the Week, if I'm not mistaken, right? We're continuing that right now.
Yep, and we'll be it'll also be available on September 6th on YouTube as well. Yep.
So, like the Fives of the Week on Facebook and on YouTube, SWA shows are going to be live on their platforms. You can follow us at Weekly Wrestling Review with Gumpzilla and A-DAM on Facebook. We're on Twitch. You can watch us live on Twitch. Also, follow us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Odyssey, Apple Music and Audible, and Pandora. Now, Fillie, tell us where we can find you guys.
Oh, well, 5 of the week. Subscribe to us on Facebook and YouTube. We stream live in the summer bi-weekly. Come September, we'll be back weekly. Apple and Spotify for audio. You never know what to expect. Always something new, fresh, and crisp, baby. Appreciate the support. Thanks for having us, Gump.
Yeah, thanks, Gump.
And thanks for joining us. And like I said, I mean, sometimes technology. A-DAM would have loved to have been here. I mean, but of course he was probably too busy just chit chatting with Mr. Furra. I mean, in all seriousness,
for our depth the line.
Right. But in all seriousness, sometimes technology is just going to be what it is. But on behalf of myself and A-DAM, thank you so much, guys. Until next time, stay safe out there.
See ya. Peace.
All right.
Later.